with sharpness too. Look, that zombie's got one too. What? Out of bread, what do? I'm low on hearts, this is my doom. I don't even have a tool. Come on, button, play it cool. Though I'm here to fight for you, I'm biting more than I can chew. My life flashes by through that ender eye. I'm scared. Oh well. And I'm pretty sure there's a big creeper right there. Oh dang, don't mind at night. I know you're looking at that cave and you're feeling kind of brave. Gonna bet you'll be alright. Don't mind at night. Don't go deeper, make a change. Get that golden getaway. Zombies wanna eat our brains. Don't mind at night. I'll fight away the skeletons while you're looking for diamonds. Or getting closer, better run. Don't mind at night. No, this won't be our final day. Take my hoof, we'll find a way. Hey, oh, whoa. Don't mind at night. Don't mind at night. I turn a sec, you're getting shot. Think you jump through a portal? Well, why not? When I think it can't get worse, an ender herd shells up a course. Now you say you need glowstone and want to mine it on your own. Then to save you from the lava I fell in, I should have known. This is the last time I try to be your light. I failed so bad. I lost all my stuff. It was really tough. That's it. Rage quit. Don't mind at night. I know you're looking at that cave and you're feeling kind of brave. Gonna bet you'll be alright. Don't mind at night. Don't go deeper, make a change. Get that golden getaway. Zombies wanna eat your brains. Don't mind at night. Please don't get caught by skeletons while you're looking for diamonds. Or getting closer, better run. Don't mind at night. No, this won't be your final day. Hold on tight, I'm on my way. Hey, oh, whoa. Don't mind at night. Don't mind at night.
And there we are, here on Brony Radio Germany, live for you. Very good evening, dear listeners. My name is Jester, and as you could probably read in the description of this broadcast, I'm again not alone here in my small but cozy broadcast studio in Frankfurt. With me are Jan Animations and ShadyVox. Say hello, guys.
Hello,
Hello,
guys.
hello.
How are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm
Friday.
doing great. How are you doing?
It's Friday. It's the best day. So
It's
as
Pizza
far as,
Fridays, you know?
Yeah, so it's Pizza Friday today. So as far as I'm concerned, it's the best day.
So are you
Yeah.
having pizza?
I
I'm
will
not.
be.
I'm not, actually.
No,
I'm not.
Jan doesn't
I'm-
commit
I'm-
as hard as I do.
I'm quite
I-
upset. I'm not getting pizza tonight. I'm quite upset.
Oh
Are you
my.
having pizza tomorrow?
Maybe.
Maybe. Is that why? That makes
Maybe,
sense.
yes.
You could have pizza 2 days in a row.
I could.
That's dangerous, though.
I should.
You should. You definitely
should.
Yeah.
I
all in
might.
all, yeah, we're having a good time, though.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are animators, right? That's why you're here.
Yes, I am an animator. Yes.
Yeah, you are an animator, and
I-
ShadyVox is like pretty much.
Yes, and I'm
Let's start
a
it.
voice actor. I do music,
Yeah,
sound
Jan
effects.
does all the music, all the audio, and I draw stickmen, and I press the animate button in my animate program, and yeah, and then I press the upload to YouTube button, and it's really difficult. It's
If
really
it
tedious.
was only this simple, yeah.
Yeah.
So we already said who you are, what do you do. So what are you do except animating, and where are you from, guys? I mean, I've heard like when I saw you guys at Galacon at your panel. And there was mumbling around my area who said, yeah, this guy, he's from Spain. Oh no, the other guy, he's from Mexico. And I was like, yeah, totally.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, yeah, no, Jan's from Italy and Mexico are basically the same thing. So I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I think those guys were speaking right.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone in Mexico speaks Italian.
Obviously, yeah, dude, this is common knowledge. But no, to answer this more seriously, I am from UK and Jan is from the land of pizza.
Yes, Italy.
Yes, delicious pizza, might I add. Much better
Delicious
than the UK.
pizza, a little bit less delicious of a country, actually.
But you do both have Pizza Friday, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
It's
it's
a little
law.
tradition we established
it's,
now.
It's actually a law within the UK. Traditionally, if you go back about 10 years in the 90s, the law was a fish and chips, chippy tea, as it's called. That was law. Then that got mandated, and then that was revoked, which was very sad. So we try and keep it culturally going, and we've decided that Pizza Fridays are the way of the future. And I hope everybody else gets on that because it's an incredible ride.
Hashtag Pizza Fridays, guys.
Exactly.
Well, last Friday when I was in Scotland, I did have deep fried pizza. It was okay.
Oh my God.
It
How-
was okay-ish.
Wow.
Deep fried pizza.
Yeah, they serve this.
Were you trying to get a room in a hospital? What are you doing?
No, actually I do work in a hospital, so I don't want to go there when I'm on vacation.
Oh, so you could get a discount. You could get like a good percentage off your medical fee. That's great, dude. That's amazing thinking.
Well, actually it wasn't that bad, but so in the UK and from Italy, like I know there is like there is a Brony community in the UK. I've been there. But from Italy, I haven't heard. Actually, I haven't heard much.
I am not sure myself there is anything in Italy about bronies.
So, you two, how and when did you decide to hang around with guys and girls who like My Little Pony? When did you decide to become a brony or be active in the brony community as such?
Can I go first?
Yeah, you take first.
Okay. Well, for me, it wasn't even necessarily a decision that I became involved in the fandom and community. I wouldn't even necessarily say that I'm too involved in the community, but the fandom. It was just by sort of bizarre circumstance. It was by extension of reaching out to Jan. Initially, I wanted to do like parody stuff. And pony stuff at the time, we're going back several years, was a really big thing. And for me, it was just like another thing to knock off my sort of like, what is hot list sort of thing. Like, what was ever big at the time. I would try and do like a video on it sort of deal and, try and get some recognition sort of. It's stupid stuff. And reached out to Jan. And we started talking about projects, and then he hitched me in for like the button thing. And for me, it was just like another fun little, doodad, like another little video I was going to be involved in. And then it sort of exploded outside of anything I was expecting, and I still don't understand it to this day, as much as anyone's tried to scientifically, mathematically explain it to me. And then with that territory, a lot of people sort of, I don't think it's unfair to say, but a lot of people also said like, oh, so you're involved in that sort of thing. That's great. Like, who's your favorite character sort of thing? And, what's your favorite episode? And I have to be straight honest and say like, I don't really watch the show and I don't know too much about it or the characters. So I'm not involved in the fandom as my work sort of leads me to look like I am. I'm very ignorant, actually, when it comes to the MLP sort of trivia and show and stuff. So I've always sort of just been in the curtain, admiring from the back. I've never really actively involved myself in it, aside from work or projects or that sort of stuff. But yeah, so that's as far as my involvement goes. But I think we started getting into the stuff like 2013, 2014.
2012, mate. It
Really?
was 2012, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 2012.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so that's when I started dipping my toe in the water of that. But past that, I haven't really made an effort to be too involved in the fandom of the show. Not to say that I don't like it or I dislike it or anything like that, but just strictly, it was never a point of me to get invested in. It was work and something that subsequently just friggin' exploded from a little project with a little boy. And yeah, no, it's been a bizarre journey. So yeah, I guess 2012 is when I started getting into that sort of stuff. Then,
I remember it clearly because that was a turning year for me, actually, because that was when Picture Perfect Pony, my first pony music video, was released. And I contacted you, if you remember, to look for a female voice actress / singer for the finish.
No, there was a video before that, wasn't there?
Well, I mean, there was like a
50-second
video, yeah, but like
Big Mac video, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my big let's say my big project back then. That was Picture Perfect Pony. So
Yeah.
and I remember it clearly that that happened in 2012 because that was when I was a guest in BronyCon. So I was in America that year. And I was in the middle of production of Picture Perfect Pony, and I tried to complete it by the convention, but I couldn't. So yeah, that's pretty clear on my calendar there.
Oh, I can't believe it's been that long in that case.
Yeah,
That's gone quick.
forever and a half ago.
So both of you are in this boat for a very long time, actually longer than myself. So, but what I heard is, did I get this right? Did you two know each other even before? Release?
No,
So-
actually,
No.
no. As Blake was saying before, he contacted me because he was he was directing this parody project about Pony Rock Anthem, which unfortunately never came to be.
How
And,
did I reach to you on Tumblr?
Yes. No, actually, I don't think it was on Tumblr.
Was it
think
because I remember you about this project, and initially Pony Rock Anthem, as Jan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
No.
as Jan mentioned, Pony Rock Anthem, this was an idea that I originally pitched to somebody else. And this was also back at a time when I wasn't working independently, professionally. I didn't have a lot of backing or a lot of talent or a lot of people I could go to. And I didn't also understand the scope of how difficult and the process of animation was. I genuinely thought that I was going to be able to make a video with like maybe $100, which got me laughed at in my face a few times, and rightly so, because it was freaking stupid. So I think what I did initially is I just went to like DeviantArt and I just put in My Little Pony animation or something, and I filtered it through like most viewed and like most popular, like most reviewed sort of deal. And Jan came up at the top, and I believe it was the clip of like the Crusaders, and they were like in a little they were like, I don't know, they were like having like a night over, like they were in a little hotel or something. Am I getting this right, Jan?
Yeah,
You know the project I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was that clip initially that I saw, and I thought, wow, this looks just identical to the show. I wonder if
my very sorry to interrupt you. That was my very first clip that I tried to do in the MLP style in terms of animation, because first I had a Tumblr which basically hold on. Okay.
yeah, you take your time.
Yeah, in this Tumblr page, basically, I made comics about the Kima Crusaders, so it was basically all still images. But that video that Blake mentioned was my first attempt to actually try and replicate the animation of the show. And looking at it back today is just, it's horrible. I'm so embarrassed by it. But apparently that was good enough for you to consider me, and that's great, because something beautiful came out of that.
I honestly, I think I maybe reached out to about 10 different people, or 10, I don't even know if it's like 10 different accounts that I saw that to me looked promising, that showed talent, that showed like it could happen. And honest to God, hand on my heart, you were the only one that responded. Nobody else got back.
Really?
Yes.
So that's how he got the job.
So that is
sorry.
literally it. That is literally it. I honestly was anticipating like I've either no responses at all, or if I did get any response, it was a case of, oh, thanks for considering me, I don't have the time, or this is out of my budget, or I'm not looking to accept it. But I think you just said like, LOL, let's do this.
Sounds about
So-
right.
Yeah, something like that. I'm sure if I go through like my DeviantArt DMs and I scan back
I do
in
not
my
think-
Wayback Machine, I might be able to find that
I
conversation.
do not think it was on DeviantArt, maybe, because I don't have a DeviantArt account. I never had. Well, I did have a DeviantArt account, but not for pony stuff.
Oh,
It was
no.
way back then.
I contacted you some way, and I definitely
It's
recall.
probably on Tumblr, or maybe through YouTube messages. I don't know.
I don't
So
know.
in retrospective, it might have been your lucky number for both of you, because I think you both are fitting together like a pot and the top of the pot. I don't know how to say it in English. In Germany, we say Arsch auf den Eimer. But you can't say that in the radio because it's swearing.
Right.
So my girlfriend just came home. So you guys, you work together very, very well, as far as I'm concerned. So it was.
We don't. No. We don't work together very well. We just have an absurdly outrageous standard for quality.
Yeah.
And by that I mean we nitpick each other.
Yes.
It's not that we work well. It's that we go, dude. This is. I was about to. Am I okay to curse?
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna put no
over the top.
I'll pull it back. It's like, we'll, in very loving terms, we'll say this isn't great. This could be better. So and so, and eventually, after creative disagreements, we end up with a product that we're both happy with. And if we can get it where we're both happy with it, then we know that we've achieved creatively where we want to excel.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately, though, that also means that this takes a long time.
It does, yeah. So we push back on each other a lot more than we just sort of give each other, I think, freedom of saying, trust to do what it is you want to do. Because there'll always be some sort of new idea or something challenging that we want to integrate, and we'll have to have an extended discussion of, well, how do we achieve it? Well, I was going to do it this way. Okay, but maybe we can try this way so that I can work off your stuff, and then we get this sort of, everything is always changing in terms of creative endeavors.
I understand.
We have our template of how we usually do things in the process, but ordinarily, 99% of it is yelling.
Pretty much,
so
yes.
When you did this animation, what was it? Picture Perfect Pony, yes?
Yeah.
Was it the very first one you did?
Actually, no, because as Blake mentioned, there was this little clip about the Crusaders. It was for an online contest, essentially, because oh god, if my memory is that if I can speak, maybe if I'm English. Okay, hold on, let me reconnect to my server.
Just
okay,
catch your breath.
You're right.
Yes. If my memory serves me right, this competition was basically on Tumblr, and it was about basically a bunch of artists getting moderated by a guy, an admin, essentially, that basically provided themes and challenges to overcome in this story that all these artists had to follow. And I decided to compete, so to speak, with with an animation. I just did the first clip, and then the rest was just comics. For some reason, I felt like I could do the animations, but no. So that was just for the first intro, essentially. And that was the first clip that I did. It's basically the Crusaders waking up in a hotel room, and they basically swapped races. So Squidaloo is a unicorn instead of Sweetie Belle. Sweetie Belle is a Nerf pony, and Apple Room is a Pegasus. It's weird, but whatever. The second short, I believe, it's probably a 40-second clip, if I remember correctly. It was just like a little birthday present to a friend of mine. So just like her or C, and since she had a crush on Big Mac, I kind of tried to repurpose the scene from that episode where the Crusaders make the love potion, and so this time they're trying to mix up they try to mix up this girl basically with Big Mac. So that was my second one, and after that I did try to go bigger, and I believe I managed to do that with Picture Perfect Pony.
So when you started doing these pony animations, you were absolutely new to doing animations?
No, actually, I've been doing animation since I was 14. I am now 27, so the math says I have basically been doing this for more than half my life. Actually, not almost half my life.
So you are quite experienced in doing animations, even you were when you started.
I wouldn't say I'm experienced. I would say more than anything, I just had a lot of time on my hands to try the different things and to basically learn everything that there was to learn. I'm self-taught. I do not pretend to have professional experience, because that's simply not the case.
You haven't had professional training.
No. That's what I meant. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So just saying, basically claiming that I have this kind of knowledge is just not good. I believe I can do good things, and I believe I can push myself even more if I try. And that's it, essentially. I don't have... I didn't have a mentor or whatever, so... Yeah.
But you head down and did it.
Yeah, essentially.
It's all trained on by yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, self-sufficient.
Basically, the story goes as far as, 2004, I think? Holy shit. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
There we go. I was trying so hard in English.
I'm sorry. I'm Italian. It's in my DNA. I'm sorry.
I don't mind. Well, we don't have to
2004.
dig too deep, because otherwise we'll be sitting at
Yeah,
11 p.m.
fair enough. But long story short, my uncle introduced me to this program called Flash, and he basically taught me the basics of the program, and I basically took it from there. So, yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I was the kind of kid in school that was doing comics instead of homework, and those comics led to animation eventually. So, yeah.
So, and this all led to the theme why we are here today. The current project you two are working on together is Vulpwood.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The other project, which is quite known within the Brony fandom, especially, is the Buttons Adventures.
Yes.
Are there any other projects besides this that you realized together? I mean, you've been talking, and you said that you did already work together on videos like the Picture Perfect Pony, where you had help from Blake, or help from Blake, where you worked together. Is there more?
Well, we've been working together on Dormant at Night. We've been doing basically every video that you've seen in my channel. That's basically...
I've somehow, some way been involved.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the most consistent member of the Jan Animations crew that always has an appearance, whether it's really basic but fundamentals, and it's like Jan just passing me like audio of him doing narration. He says, can you just treat the audio a little bit, EQ it? It's like, yeah, it's super simple stuff. As for like the creative involvement, Picture Perfect Pony, I was only necessarily involved for casting or just simply giving recommendations. I think I gave you 3 different female performers, and you ultimately ended up choosing Eileen.
Yes.
And then Don't Mind at Night, that was more of a shared workload. I handled everything audio, and Jan handled everything visual.
There's an interesting story behind Dormant at Night, actually, but we'll get to that. Please continue.
I don't think with Don't Mind at Night, it was actually one of the very few productions where I think the storyboarding in terms of process was after the product of the music had been made. I don't think we actually discussed like, well, what's going to happen during these 10 seconds of audio. Like, well, Sweetie Belle's going to do this. Or it was nothing like that. It was a case of,
it was basically
I made
just
the audio,
getting the music, and then I would just brainstorm over it, essentially. Yeah.
Whereas now the involvement's changed. Every piece of audio or music that I'm making that is going to be involved, there is a back and forth with Jan, like, well, where's the placement? Okay, well, what's happening in this music? What's the mood going to be? Can we change the instruments to maybe accentuate that mood? Do we have to do that sort of thing, or whatever?
There's a lot more back and forth, yes.
Yeah, so creatively, as our relationship has aged, and the general longevity of making more projects, the more creatively involved we are in each other's department. Initially, like again with Don't Mind at Night, Jan, I don't think you had any say to the production audio wise. I just sent you it and you said, yeah, this is good, and we were happy with that.
Essentially, yes.
But now for Vulpwood, as we're exchanging original materials and stuff, we're getting more back and forth. There are things that I think I could sign off on. It gets to Jan, it comes back, and then he's like, I'm not really feeling it. I go, okay, well, explain to me what it is. And like, well, I was thinking this visual scene. I go, okay, well, when I was making it, I was thinking this visual scene. Oh, well, in that case, maybe we should do it this way. Oh, well, then that means I can do your part, and I can take that over here. I could do. There's a lot of back and forth. There is no clear-cut. Like, we're not sharing a server or materials. It's literally a case of sending files on Discord and be like, is this okay? No, maybe try this. Like, okay, I've tried this and such a thing. But yeah, we are definitely more involved in each other's department more than what we were initially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm able to say to Jan, like, if you would ask me this, like, 5-6 years ago, and Jan was like to throw me a load of very technical animating terms, or like, even the terms like puppet, turnaround, 3/4, keyframes, in between, staging, boxing. This sort of would be over my head. I wouldn't know what he's talking about.
Sorry,
but
boxing,
now
what?
Sorry, that's more actual on stage.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting terms messed up here. You know what I mean. But now that we're, the vocabulary is expanded, and I have more appreciation for the visual side, and I'm able to empathize and understand, and give sort of confidence to the workload that comes in, and I'm not. There's no longer a point when I go, I need a music video and I need it done in a month. It's not going to happen. I can appreciate.
It could happen.
It could happen. No, that's a lie.
If you
It
don't
could
want
happen.
it to be good.
I mean, if I want the album art just slapped in, then sure, it could take an hour. But
if you don't want it to be good, it can definitely happen.
yeah. But no, we try to stick in our own corners because that's where we best excel. But there are step over points where we both go, well, maybe this could work, and taking inspiration from other things and other projects and stuff. It is a huge creative endeavor, and it can be a little bit messy. But my God, at the end of it, if we're not both happy, then we've both achieved what we've got.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, to get back to Vulpwood and your project as
Yeah,
such,
sorry about that. Go on.
It's
okay, as long as I'm not running at you screaming and wielding a pitchfork, everything is fine. So yesterday, when I was writing the overview for this broadcast for us, I was actually by coincidence stumbling upon this new animation that popped up on YouTube called Spyro's Bad Day.
Oh yes.
And that led me to the conclusion that you two are not always working together. Like ShadyVox, you've been involved with Spyro's Bad Day, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, Jan and I have an open relationship, and we're completely understanding to that.
I mean, that's true. So.
Yeah, and that led me to the question: what else are you doing that doesn't involve the other?
Oh God, is this where we just crap all over each other and just tell Yeah, no, I've got this great thing going on that's not with Jan. Oh, well, I just signed this huge contract without Shady. And, it might be the best contract in the world.
How
the
dare
thing is, it comes with the territory, is that, as much as the opportunity comes, I love working with Jan, and I always feel like we push each other creatively to be better, not just better people, but also better content creators. But with the nature of just our line of work, we're freelance, and we're open for commission, which basically means if anybody is happy to compensate our talents, we'll take on the work. So I'm sort of plotted all over the place on YouTube. It's very rare that I'll find time to work on my own personal projects. It'll mostly be that I'm working for other people. But I mean, for a good couple of years, exclusively all the gigs I seem to be getting were in the Minecraft fandom. And I'll take what's given to me, really. I'm not too fussy, but yeah, I've most of my work line is now sort of music and very small voiceovers for clients who regularly cast me. I don't know if it's out of pity that they just want to give me money for food or whatever, or if it's that they genuinely want to hire me. But I don't do too much voiceover work now. It's mostly music, sound design, maybe a little bit of singing every once in a while, but mainly speaking, most of my my labor is involved in creating audio and music rather than vocal performance. But I dabble where it gets me. Sometimes writing seems to be a new gig that's coming up for me a little bit more frequently now, which is nice. But yeah, I'm mostly in the audio branch of work now. Find me on YouTube. JanAnimationStudios, I'm sure.
Will we find a whole lot of crappy fan fictions on FimFiction for in the future?
I don't know. I
well.
haven't. Do you mean me exclusively, or like? Because I can tell you, I'm sure there's some a button somewhere. I'm certain.
I'm pretty sure there is a lot of crappy fan fictions about Button actually already existing. Yeah. No. Just wanted to run along with it. No. Before we talk more about Vulpwood and your other project, let's have a small music break because, well, usually this is the point where I say, oh, I've been talking so much, I gotta go drink something. But actually, you two stole the show entirely.
Yeah, this was the I
mean, he's stealing everything. I'm not saying anything.
You could look at any convention panel. It's always me that fuck.
Here we go again.
Yeah, Christ. Yeah, I'll try and shut up.
Just cue the music. We'll see you guys.
Just go for it. Yeah,
It's
play
totally
the damn song.
fine. Since my voice is still not fine, I'm actually glad I don't have to talk that much today.
Yeah.
So we'll head in with some music. I prepared some songs. The first one I got to play is actually got nothing to do with My Little Pony as such. It's got pretty much, as far as I know, it's a Yu-Gi-Oh song.
Wait, what?
It's stronger, ShadyVox, isn't it?
Oh no, wait, you got that? Oh, it's in the script. Right. Yes.
Yes.
I see.
Good morning, Shady. Good morning.
Hi.
Yes, you know, I found this song and I was like, oh yeah, you really want to play this one? So
Yeah, late man, make it happen.
Yeah.
And after that, we will start with Vulpwood. Have fun with the music, guys.
Yo, if you try to duel me, it's gonna make me stronger. I need you to play a card now, cause I can't wait much longer. My deck's like totally gonna beat ya. You may think you're harder, but just wait for when I make my next move. Guess who's back? Yo, listen up, homeboy, let me be the tutor. About to tell you all about how we saved the future. I started out with Jan and hanging out in Venice. Last thing I knew, Crowler had me playing tennis. And this guy rolls up on his motorcycle. He's got a freaky ass mask like that Myers named Michael. He's trying to kill me, man, for all he's worth. Shouting out this weird crap about saving the earth. And then he revs up his bike, he's got the need for speed. It's a good thing I played all that Assassin's Creed. But then the sky turned black, out comes his U-track. And the thing 5 times the size of a station wagon is in hot pursuit. Shooting fireballs, got me jumping the roofs and got me climbing the walls. I try to escape, but at the very last minute I whip out my tool and I push it to the limit saying, if you try to duel me, it's gonna make me stronger. I need you to play a card now, cause I can't wait much longer. My deck's like totally gonna beat ya. You may think you're harder, but just wait for when I make my next move. When Kariba's coming at ya. Well, as it turns out now, I'm not the first sucker who's had a run-in with this masked motherfucker. For now, we gotta skip 100 years or 3, cause the story ain't told chronologically. But hey, don't get confused, understanding's a breeze. This action takes place in the world of 5Ds. You say and his friends were just driving around, when guess who shows up with an evil sound? He steals Yusei's dragon, and then he takes off bragging. Yusei's tattoo glows, it somehow knows how to travel through time, and I can hear you whine, but don't you fret, cause things about to get. If you try to duel me, it's gonna make me stronger. I need you to play a card now, cause I can't wait much longer. My deck's like totally gonna beat ya. You may think you're harder, but just wait for when I make my next move. When Kariba's coming at ya. So then you say me, we go back into the past, man. This time travel game's one hell of a blast. But hey, this ain't Kansas, we ain't Dorothy and Toto. When all of a sudden, here comes Yukimoto. We team up together, unstoppable force. We're gonna challenge Paradox and we'll win, of course. We take the guy down and we save our show. Ain't no one gonna mess with Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah! If you try to duel me, it's gonna make me stronger. I need you to play a card now, cause I can't wait much longer. My deck's like totally gonna beat ya. You may think you're harder, but just wait for when I make my next move. When Kariba's coming at ya. Get your game on! Yo, Jan and 2017. Hey yo, where the f are my Cheetos at?
And we're on.
Okay, and that's the story of how I got arrested. And,
Oh my!
yeah.
That's-
So
Wow.
fortunately,
So how did? Wait,
so-
wait.
yeah. So
And you
fortunately,
really did that?
yeah. So fortunately, the pig owned a chicken, and it had the bail money. So
And
I
from
just
now on, you're not allowed to.
no, I am
travel into the
legally not
United
allowed
States
in.
anymore.
I am legally not allowed in the state of Michigan.
Should you
It's-
even say this though?
Yeah. No. Well, wait. Are we live?
Yes,
think
of
we
course
are.
we are live.
Oh,
all the
right.
time.
No. Can we just carry on then?
Yeah.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. Sorry
So,
about that.
the last song you heard was System Error by ShadyVox, which is like the credits song for the first episode of Vulpwood. The one
It is going to be yes.
Yes.
it is going to be when it's finished. Actually,
If it's finished.
If it, what do you mean if? We
If
don't
I
have a
don't
choice
die
at this.
before that.
We don't have a choice. It's not even a question of if. We showed it at a convention. It has to be done.
Hey, if I die before that, then it's not gonna get finished. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that's applicable to any bloody situation.
Exactly. That's what I'm
It
saying.
will get finished. Yes, it will be finished. It
Yeah,
will
we're
have
not
vocals.
dropping it. No.
It will sound lovely, and everybody will hopefully download it legally and make the fact that we're making this video worth it.
Yeah, please, because we need it.
Before we continue talking about Vulpwood, I want to hook back to the question from before the music break. The projects you guys do without each other.
Yes.
Blake did an answer to the. Sorry, ShadyVox did an answer to this. Jan,
Yeah,
you didn't get to answer
I
because
did not have the chance to answer. No, okay.
Canda's
Sorry.
ASMR commissions.
Well, let's say I do not really do much apart from videos that I am co-producing with Shady. Like, for example, right now, 90% of my time is on Vulpwood, which is what we're doing together. However, I do like to spend my quote-unquote free time expanding my own original concepts. So I admittedly have a lot of ideas that I have not shared with Shady yet. Mostly because I know he's got quite a good standard for writing and stuff, and also because I do know his taste, and I do not think most of that stuff will be up his alley, essentially. So yeah, but no, I've been working on mostly offline on some ideas for an original series, 2 original series actually. And mostly just world building, essentially. So making stories, making worlds, and if all goes good, maybe I will be able to start showing something in the next years.
I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. Also, our listeners are looking forward to what we are talking about now. I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Vulpwood. First of all, what is Vulpwood?
We
That
don't
is an
know.
amazing question. We
We
don't
don't even know. Yeah, we don't have a clue.
Vulpwood basically started from the death, so to speak, of Button Mesh, because the original. No, it was because the original idea for Vulpwood was basically just to remodel Button into another character. So that was all it's going to. That was all it was going to be, essentially.
Oh.
So the main guy that you see in Vulpwood, the little kid Lucas, that was actually supposed to be just a remodel of Button, and we would have basically continued Button Adventures, but in that style, with that kind of character. But as we were continuing developing this character, we noticed that it was basically just eventually to it was basically just. Evolving into his own thing. So we decided to scrap everything that we had in mind for Button Adventures and just use this character for our own universe, essentially.
So, and what characters are there? What characters joined this Lucas version of Button Mesh in his adventures? I mean, I've been looking into it. There is like a whole family and a neighborhood, and then there is the supercomputer, and then there is everything else, and the government, and the universe. But what main characters are there beneath or next to Lucas?
Well,
I think we've
think
mostly
it's fair-
discovered,
Yeah.
I think we mostly discussed that it's mainly mammals, but it's not exclusively.
You're cutting out, mate.
You're cutting out again.
Basic.
Okay, now.
Should I respond?
Testing 1 2 1 2.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you're back.
Okay. All right. Am I okay?
Yes.
Yes.
For now, yes.
Oh my good lord. Yeah. So it's mainly mammals, but not exclusively mammals.
Yeah.
I think is the sort of general consensus that we've come to. So there will be other creatures. We're still figuring out exactly how the universe is and how it's going to work. But yeah, it's mostly mammals.
I think that's a
So,
fair thing to say.
What
Yes.
mammals?
Oh gosh. What have we got? Got a fox,
We got fox. We got a wolf,
mouse, cat,
mouse, a donkey.
donkey.
So
who
my
else?
question was more like, who else will be there? I mean,
Didn't
there
we
is his
just say?
sister.
Didn't we say at some point we're gonna have a llama?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A llama?
llamas. Yeah, llama's a
Definitely a llama.
possibility. Yeah. No, there's
I
Will-
think
will there
the
be a
question,
sloth?
however, is like who's the main character in this? I would say we would mostly want to focus on the family, so Lucas and his family, but not necessarily just that.
So
And-
it's like the story revolving around Lucas, but it's also subsequently indirectly / directly affecting the family, whatever
Yeah.
the circumstances may or may not be.
Okay, so what is the story about Lucas? I mean, we have seen. So those of us who have seen the panel at Galacon and probably at other conventions as well. In the meantime, we've seen like part of the first, or probably biggest part of the first episode, where Lucas buys this computer and then the world ends,
His mom bought it.
or his mom bought it.
His mom bought it.
Yeah, it was with his mom.
Yeah, it was his mom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Their mom
Yeah.
bought it.
I got
now.
really drunk after Galacon and forgot the details. I'm sorry.
Hey, me too.
As one does.
So, can you give us a rough overview over what the story of Lucas will be? What will probably be the story development?
Without giving many spoilers, that's going to be a little bit tough. But let's see.
That's a difficult one. What I can tell you is what it's not going to be, and it's
Okay.
not going to be an episodic where the sort of everything is okay at the end of the episode, everything resets, and we're back to a lovely, beautiful morning
Yeah.
the next rolling day.
Yeah, we're not going with that.
No, we want to have continuity. We also want to expand to. It's going to be it will be difficult because it's two conflicting moods, but we do want to have a sort of like a half and half of comedy. Well, not maybe half and half, mostly comedy. But we want it to be a share between comedy and I guess like serious writing, like actual relationships that are tangible, and sometimes conversations don't go the way they want, and friendships deteriorate and come together, and new people come in and they leave. We do certainly want to play it more serious while having the comedy aspect of cute little fuzzy animals, and sometimes that certainly feels very difficult when you're on the drawing board, but we're still also ironing out where we want the project to go, because the intention is that it's not going to be an episodic series, so you can't expect to see 22 installments of whatever situation. It's a big project. It's a small team. It's a very ambitious passion project. So we're looking to do 10 installments for I guess, first season story arc.
Yeah.
We don't know where it's going to go past that. But that's as far as we're dedicated and we're interested to go. If it just so happens that past that point there is interest and there is reason for us to continue, that is going to not only excel us as creators, but something that we're going to be able to support ourselves doing while pursuing, then we're happy to make more. But as far as the plan is at the moment, it's 10 installments. The first episode is going to be 22-23 minutes by circumstance that we did not plan for, the next installments probably won't be of that same length. If, in fact, I can guarantee it won't be of that same length. Otherwise, you won't see it done for the next 4 years. We're probably going to be aiming for the future installments to be somewhere between like 7-10 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Some might run a little bit longer. Some might run a little bit shorter. It depends really what we do. But the intention is that we are going to make this work as if it is a story arc of a show that is basically network broadcast quality. That's what we're attempting to strive for. As for the story and details, we're still working that out. I don't want to say anything here in case we go back to drafting and we want to change a detail or something. But yeah, we are definitely planning to have some serious relationships, serious dialogue. We're directing, we're casting, we've got the vision in mind, we have the talent in mind that we want, we know that they're capable of doing it, and then some. But we want it to be a sort of 80% comedy and 20% drama, but you can laugh at the drama.
A little bit more of that, I would say personally. Maybe 30 and 70, but yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so, around that spectrum, yeah.
I think we all got what you mean, yeah.
The balance is more difficult than giving you the percentage, and we need to find that. But I think we can do it.
So it will be a periodic series. So every episode will build up on the previous episode.
Essentially, yes, because as Blake said before, we're looking for continuity. So that means that whatever happens in a previous episode is eventually going to be brought up again. Or if not, you will still be able to see the consequences of that.
So in the first episode, Lucas gets the supercomputer by his mom. Actually, I forgot all names except Lucas. So you also see his turtle friend. What was his name?
That was Sheldon.
Sheldon, yes, of course.
Yes.
Sheldon the turtle.
Yes, hello.
The little nerdy turtle.
How dare you, sir?
Well, that's just how I am. I'm so sorry. I'm just
Also, I'm a tortoise.
Honest. A tortoise. I'm so sorry. I did not want to insult you.
That's okay. It's a common mistake.
And then there is his, how do I say, super nice sister.
Super nice.
Yeah, no,
sister.
she's lovely. She's great.
Yeah, she's a blossom.
No, she is. Yes, Zoe.
Yes.
Zoe.
Zoe Vulpwood.
And then the mother, I'm sure she's got a name too.
Yes.
Yeah, it's mom.
It's mom.
It's we're doing it
Lucas'
again.
mom.
It's Lucas's mom.
Lucas' mom's got it going on, I see.
Probably.
So, he gets the supercomputer and everything is going wrong, and the government is after him.
Yes.
And the world is pretty much at the collapse.
Yes.
And the next episode is going to build up on that.
Well,
yes.
Yes and no.
I'm very curious. I'm really looking forward to see this all is going.
Yeah.
Well,
There
if
definitely
the world
will be mentions to previous episodes in terms of like circumstance or objectivity that happened, which now makes a decision more. It's all been considered. We do definitely want to keep it consistent as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you just said, or like some time ago, you said that with the Death Button's adventures, with this, the working on Vulpwood pretty much started, or it was like the starting point of the idea to do something else. But when did you get this idea, and who of you got the idea to run with the idea that's behind Vulpwood, and when was it? How long did it take between oh my gosh, Hasbro fucked us? I'm sorry, and until oh yeah, we are gonna do it like this. When did you start it?
Okay, that's a little bit of a ride now, because personally speaking, after the Hasbro thing happened, I went into quite some deep depression. I'm fortunately out of it now, but that means basically my will to do creative things and my motivation altogether was at its lowest point back then. Eventually, that went back up, and now I'm having fun again. doing these things. So with that out of the way, we can say that probably we started considering Vulpwood about
If we're going to go
8 to 10
literal, if
8 to 10 months after the Hasbro thing.
No, if we're going to go absolute literal, I think you drafted a design a few days after the initial document was.
You pushed me to it because I was just not feeling it.
yeah, and that happened, and then.
As I said, the original idea was to just change Button into this character here and just reuse the ideas that we had.
Yeah, it's a weird process. It was sort of like a very unenthused sort of because initially we had the idea for the design of.
You're cutting out, mate.
You're cutting out again. And
sorry about this, guys.
He's redoing
test 1 2 1 2.
He's supposed to be the one with the working microphone.
It's the audio box. It's doing it again.
Fix it.
Right, well, fix. Okay, so yeah, it was a very sort of unenthused sort of road that was straight that we were walking on after the C&D hit, because we were sort of half interested in pursuing it, just sort of being beaten down by it. It was just sort of a case of like, hey, I don't know if this idea is still going to roll, but we were talking about the Fox. I was thinking the idea of like Lucas, and it was like, oh yeah, I guess that would be cool. And then it's like, hey, just messing around, and I had a little bit of music ideas, and maybe this is an idea for a theme if that show idea runs. It's like, yeah, maybe, I guess this sort of works. And then we just keep adding more and more, and then it's like, are we actually building materials? It's like, well, yeah, we got an archive now. We've got folders and we're writing scripts. It's like, I guess this is actually happening. And it was only until last year.
Last year we wrote the actual script for the first episode.
Yeah, I started making like genuine conscious efforts to like go over to Italy and just be in Jan's studio with him and get a whiteboard and just pace the room and going, what the hell are we doing? Is this going to happen? How does this guy get from here to here, and how do we do it in a way that's interesting and original? And a lot of questions, a lot of, barking stuff off the board and go, scrap that, get rid of that, change that, delete that. And then for whatever hell the way it worked when we said, like, let's make it 10 minutes. It's like, okay, the script's going to be 22 minutes runtime. Like, okay, let's go balls deep, and we're just going network broadcast length. It's like, screw it. So this is a huge creative endeavor, and it's like we're doing this for the sake of like proving ourselves that we can do it.
Essentially.
All right. So, yeah, it sounds like a fun journey after all.
It can be.
It's fun. It's stressful. It's exhausting. But at the end of it, I'm going to have a video that I'm proud of, that I can showcase, that I can use as a portfolio tool for people to hire me, and I can go, this is my best, and we are both trying to give it our absolute best. I'd like to hope that the quality speaks for our ability and what it is we're able to do. And I think I feel that. I think creatively more than what I ever expected.
But after what I've seen at Galacon, you're totally nailing it, so...
It seemed... I don't know if those people were just being polite or nice, or if they genuinely enjoyed it, but it seems to me that it looks like it's going well. And I'm happy that it's at least looking like it's going well.
Yeah.
When the video goes up, that's very different. That's an entirely different story.
Oh, yeah.
You won't hear from me or Jan for about a month. We'll be locked up in our shelters reading comments, looking at how much everybody hates us.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, usually how it goes.
But on Vulpwood, you're not the only ones working on Vulpwood, right?
It depends on how you measure it. Creative team, like writing and storyboards and animation, like the core of the project, we handle the foundations. But then when it comes to, I can't speak for Jan because I know he has a whole subset of different talent that he extends to.
Let's just say this then. Me and Shady basically are the core, as he said. We are the heads of the show. Basically, we co-produce and co-create together. However, Shady is responsible for the audio department. That means music, sound effects, casting for voice actors, and cast directing as well.
That's not necessarily entirely true.
I do also help on cast directing, yes. But for the most part, that's you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and on my side, I basically handle everything that's visual. So from the storyboards, the character design, the animation, the final look, essentially. And I have a few friends helping me with that, essentially. So
yeah. So primarily it is Jan and I, but there are so many different like little other departments that we get assistance for. But for the most part, we're handling everything, and then we outsource. Like Jan will outsource visual departments if it's like tools or 3D modeling is making an appearance.
Just 3D modeling,
it's being integrated into the project. Yeah, and then like I will outsource voice actors and look for talent. I'm handling all music and sound, so I don't have to reach out to anybody. Like primarily, the talent that we outsource is voice actors. Well, voice actors for the audio department, and Jan, what do you outsource primarily?
Mostly cleanup artists and 3D modelers, and also right now I have we can call it an artistic assistance guy, essentially. Basically, he helps me with whatever there is that to compile, essentially. So like assets and all that's basically meant to be reconnected into something bigger.
So there is not only going a lot of work into this, but also a lot of money, as it sounds, if you have to outsource stuff.
Well, it depends.
All right.
Depends, because
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I had to reset my audio. What do you say?
Yeah, you did. The question was, there is not only a lot of work of you two going into this, but also you have to, like, also there is a lot of money going into it if you have to outsource some things.
It's honestly, it's not expensive as I think it looks out to be. That's purely because Jan and I are sharing the majority of the heaviest part of the project. Our voice actors, obviously, we compensate the talent where it's applicable. But for example, I handle all the music, I handle all the sound design, and voicing the lead boy, Sheldon as well. Majority of the work is on Jan and I because he handles all the visuals and stuff. So you know, depending on what cast we have on in an episode and how many lines, it's not like we're burning through pockets of investors and stuff, but we are paying it out of our own. But it's an amount that we are able to, I wouldn't say comfortably, but we are able to fund it ourselves.
All right.
But it's not like we've had to take out a second loan or a mortgage or anything like that. But
oh my gosh, no.
There definitely is a financial gamble involved in this, because it may be the case that the video comes out and it doesn't receive well at all, and there is no return on that. It perhaps may very well be the case, but we're not concerned now about losing money at all. There is no issue to us like, oh, we're down X amount of, you know, whatever. Our concern now is getting it out, and we're happy to keep going with the way that we are. If it so happens that for whatever circumstance it gets picked up, or somebody wants to host it and we can get funding, that's great. That means that we can expand a bit further. But as for right now, we're going to produce it ourselves. We're going to afford it ourselves. We're going to compensate what we can with the talent that we have, and we're going to do the best of what we've got.
All right. So before we go on to the next question, before I forget it again, dear listeners, if you do have any questions that you want to ask to ShadyVox and Jan Animations, you can just go to our request box. It's on our main page, down where the live stream, the embedded live stream is itself. There is in the lower right corner there is a button that reads Nachricht. It's a very disgusting German word. Pretty much, so for a foreign language, it's almost impossible to pronounce. So Nachricht. You can click this and you can send a message to us, well, to me pretty much. And if you have any questions, I will hand them forward, or I will forward them to Jan Animations and ShadyVox. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them in. Yeah, where was I? Oh yes. So now that I've seen your panel at Elecon, and been talking to you guys a little bit, the question arose: what is the target group for Vulpwood? Is it meant for children? Is it meant for adults? Is it meant for both?
Sure, it's an honest and good question. I understand that with the visuals, it looks like it can very catered towards children and sort of younger teens. It is. I don't want to say it's not for children, but again, with the previous mention that we do intend to write some dialogue where it doesn't always end happily. It's not always potentially upbeat. I would say it's more targeted towards teens, young adults. That's the sort of range that we're looking at. But I mean, I'd like to think that it can be watched through all ages. It's not like there's going to have any content that is strictly inappropriate, or like it's, this scene specifically happens and therefore it wouldn't cater well towards this group. It's just more of a case of more, I don't want to say sensitive because it's not the right way to describe the sort of angle we're looking for. It's about expanding the characters and difficulty, complications. And that's typically not what you would get in your children's cartoon. But we want to expand our writing, and we want to serious characters and genuine relationships that's real and develop and deteriorate and that sort of stuff. So I would personally say sort of young, older teens, young adult sort of deal.
All right. So and you, now that you are working on Vulpwood, what is it you want to? I'd say maybe not want to achieve with it, but where do you want it to go? Is it meant to be like, oh yeah, our fans can watch the episodes on our website or on YouTube, or would you even say your dream? Could you say you would love it to be on television one day? Or
that'd be wonderful.
Anything?
As much as I would love it, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see it ever being a case of
maybe Netflix, but I don't think television is going to be an option.
No, honestly, in today's media where everything is online and you can just host your stuff now, and you don't have to get approval, and everything is just so get immediate satisfaction by just clicking, a Google search, and you'll find where you are. As far as I'm concerned, I can't necessarily speak for Jan, but I don't hold any disdain to the idea if it was posted and hosted solely on YouTube. That wouldn't be an issue to me at all. It's the most accessible platform that I can think of.
I completely agree.
Yeah, well, I mean, Netflix obviously is very accessible, but it also has a paid subscription, and not a lot of people go for that. But with YouTube being free the way it is, well, outside of advertisements and that sort of deal, there is no final dream. It's not like we're wanting to see this up in lights sort of deal. It's just a case of got some creative ideas, fun to see it go on video. Can we get it on video? Sure. Where's it gonna go? Anywhere we can host it. And I think the biggest following that we have is on the Jan Animations channel and YouTube. So it just seems fitting for me that it would be hosted there. I mean, the circumstances may be different. I'm not saying, I don't anticipate it at all that we could get any sort of offer or, network contract. In the event that we would, obviously that would be something to discuss. But I think with the ideas that we've got, there would be, I don't know. I can't pretend that I know how the creative freedom would work once a corporation gets involved to a project. But as far as I'm concerned, YouTube, and if it goes somewhere else, great. If not, I do not care.
All right. So, can you... Now, another question that just arose in me is, the first episode of Vulpwood is, as far as I know, pretty much almost done-ish. Is that right?
In terms of storyboard, voices, yes. Visuals, music, sound design, no. That's going to be the biggest part of production.
Yeah.
So when can we see the first finished episode on YouTube? Do you have any idea when?
We are hoping to release it by next year, more specifically during the first quarter, and maybe that would mean around April. That's my best bet right now, but I do not know.
That's what we're aiming for. It's a hell of a project. It's difficult to put an estimate on a 23-minute video.
Yeah.
But it's passion. Either way, we're gonna get it done. So
yeah, we're not dropping this.
It will be there eventually.
Yeah. We don't want to risk rushing it for the sake of getting it out early. Because, especially with something like this, I would hate it to be the case that the video goes up knowing that there's something that we could have changed that would appease us, but we didn't. And that can be a difficult process to go with sometimes. There are videos that get uploaded, and then 2 days later, I'm looking back on it, and I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I should have re-recorded that dialogue. Maybe that line could have been better. But we could be tweaking this until friggin' 2020, and we still probably wouldn't be happy with it. So we gotta make a middle line of where we accept it's good, and we're happy with the product that we make. Because we're perfectionists, and we could be messing with this until indefinite, and we still wouldn't be happy with
before.
it. Yeah.
Oh my.
Also, something that I wanted to chime in on is basically the fact that right now the first episode could basically take a long time, not only because we're looking at a 22-minute production, but also because it's the very first installment of a brand new original concept, meaning that everything has to be designed and essentially approved before something else can be added to that. Essentially, if I create a character, if I establish that character, then I have basically a template that tells me, okay, all the other characters need to be in this style. That applies to props, applies to environments, applies to basically everything. And once the first episode will be out, essentially, I will have all the templates that I need in terms of style and visuals and final look, essentially. And that will basically transform everything else that's going to come after that into a less time-consuming process, if that makes sense.
Yep. The first episode is the hurdle of making puppets and the characters, and just the mere process of establishing itself is a task.
Yeah.
But yeah, so subsequent installments should be much quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot less guessing work, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So one last thing I wanted to ask before we go into the next music break, and
yes.
Within the music break, also I got some questions in from our audience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or more or less questions, and we will discuss this in music break. For this, I wanted to ask something that I read several times actually during the little research I did during the extended research I did for this broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
People claimed there were parallels to a show called Amazing World of Gumball.
I can see that.
Never watched, actually. I have no idea what it is.
It's a very good show, yes. And I think that's a fair claim also.
Yeah.
But please continue.
Yeah, and people also said, ShadyVox had said, or Jan, one of you had said, that some inspiration came from this show.
Yes,
and I just wanted to, since I read this like several times, I just wanted to go in there and ask, is this right? Did you get some inspiration from this Gumball show? And what inspiration did you get from this show?
I would say mostly the kind of humor, the quick-paced.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah. I think if anyone ever cares to, if you look back on like earlier videos I've done or projects I've been involved with, I think it may be necessarily down just to myself in enjoying very dry British humor. Where it's very conversation and it's snappy and it's, a lot of it is just dialogue and, it's not very visual sort of deal. And Gumball does that particularly very well, very, very well. Sort of dialogue, humor, comedic timing is very good. So there are certain things and executions that they do that I take inspiration from in writing. scenic and sort of scenario-wise and dynamic with family is very, very different to Gumball. I will just leave the comment to say it's not a particularly happy family, and it's not always sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
But the comedic sort of delivery and the execution that Gumball does is wonderfully done. It's a beautiful craft, and I really do wish I could make some of the content that they're pushing out, but you can take a little bit of inspiration from that in itself, and yeah, it's a cool way of sort of establishing the world with the characters, especially in the dialogue. It's just quick-witted. It's very dry. It's sort of sly humor, and yeah. I'm not too sure else where to draw.
Well, I
like
think
comparisons.
I think the comparison also goes into the designs because, admittedly, there is that kind of style. However, I like to think that so from a design standpoint, Gumball is very, very varied because it includes many styles. So you have the traditional style, the painted style. There's even 3D, and there's a lot of characters that basically look like they're from different shows. That is not going to happen in Vulpwood. That everyone is going to be looking like they're from the same world. So
yeah.
We don't have that kind of parallel as well.
Sure, and you're not going to have little 8-bit game icons as characters. It's
exactly
just animals, basically. Whereas Gumball, it's like, I don't know, a cloud could be a neighbor in Gumball.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that won't be the case for Vulpwood. It will be exclusively all animals.
Yeah. Also, I think it's a fair comment to make. There's one here that basically Vulpwood is going to be a little bit more grounded into reality.
Yes.
Than Gumball is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that as well.
Yeah.
All right. So before we blabber on too much, we will just play some music.
Okay.
In the meantime, we will discuss the questions that came in from our dear listeners.
All right.
And yeah, with that, I'd say enjoy the music.
dress. I vow to give finesse with time, love, and couture. My favorite moment's when a pony sees it. That special gown that she just adores. That pony's now in style. My heart works so worthwhile. Oh yes, it makes my heart just soar. The rules of rarity, just a parody. No dress here's unique. The panels all the same, each colored window pane. I fashion only makes me want to shriek. Oh, to create would give me elation. To feel once again some inspiration. Come on now, rarity, give me some clarity. Time for your couture love to rule. The rules of rarity, extra TLC, this feels more sublime. Soon now they will see how good these can be with a little extra shine. The rules of rarity, guaranteed quality, all can see it's true. These new gems add such flair, their beauty can't compare. This old style suddenly gleams anew. The rules of rarity once stood for something, but now it feels just like some factory. Now every dress I make, with every flaw and mistake, oh how it makes my heart just break. My favorite moments when a pony sees it. That special gown that she just adores. That pony's now in style. My heart looks all worthwhile. Oh yes, it makes my heart just soar.
And we're back.
Yeah, and that's the story of how when I was arrested, I got released, detained, arrested again, charged, released, detained, arrested, and then released again. It was weird. That was a weird weekend.
Oh, I got the poor sheep.
Yeah. I mean, that was always nice. Yeah. And I came home with a goat, so I can't really complain.
Oh well,
So,
yeah, you
know.
can't complain about
Yeah,
that.
it worked out in the end.
All right, guys, back to Vulpwood. So no, actually, we are quite finished with Vulpwood. What we're doing now is discussing the questions that came in during the broadcast. The first one is from a guy. I can't actually speak his name. What was his name? Elodial. Elodial.
Yes.
Is he from Ireland? It sounds Irish.
I think he is, yeah.
Oh! Well, okay. He said, ask ShadyVox to tell you about the time he was my ass of a sidekick. He'll know what I mean. Hashtag Deputy Sean. What's up with it? Why have you been his ass of a sidekick?
I don't know. This guy's crazy. I think you need to ban him. No, I was I was the voice of Sean the Donkey on a show called Sheriff Hayseed, and Elodial voiced the very brave and courageous Sheriff Todd Hayseed, and I played the donkey, and he's making a joke about it an ass because donkeys are asses and ha ha ha. And
do you have a link for me for the video so I can share it with the audience?
Oh, I should be able to. Yeah, just give me a moment.
In the meantime, In the meantime, I'll just ask the next question. It goes to Jan Animations.
Okay.
It's from a terrible Brony, and that's not a description, but it's his name. At least
Oh,
that's
thank God.
at least that's what he wrote in the description of his name. Was there anything Jan did before Ask the Crusaders?
Wow, that is a very interesting question. That brings me back. Yes, there was. There were many things, actually. More, let's say, the biggest thing was this project that I was making mostly alone. It was supposed to be a fan series of an anime called Surgeon Frog, and it's basically this cartoon, well, this anime about a bunch of alien frogs coming to invade Earth, but failing miserably every time they try it. And my fan series was going to basically try and make a spin about it, essentially. But that never really got past the first episode. So there were a lot of dreams shattered back then. I was much more naive than I am now, and I was a lot more ambitious as well. So I basically just started chewing off more than what was that saying again? I was doing more than I could do, essentially.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting project, though, because it helped me, let's say, I don't want to say, oh God, upgrading my skills, because that's not really the case. Because if you go back and see what I did back then, it's just horrible.
It's shit. It's terrible.
It really is. It really is. I'm so embarrassed. I'm not even going to say where to find it.
Well, we all got to start somewhere.
Be my guest. Be my guest on that. And
right.
If you have to start somewhere, please do not do what I did. Apart from that, it was mostly just random things that I never uploaded. So it was just a hobby for the most part, and I started to become more of a career-oriented sort of thing, I suppose, after the MLP thing started to come out. So,
all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm blubbering.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And you give me crap for talking, Jesus.
It's like, well, you talk and you make valid points. I talk and I say nothing, essentially.
So it makes sense for me to talk more.
We
To a
all
degree,
blabber
yes.
down here.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Just
So
making sure.
the third thing I got for you is not exactly a question, but more like of a compliment.
Mhm.
It's from J. Like J. Dot. He said it was a blast at your panel at the Galacon. Everyone was curious what your response for the whole situation you got yourself into was. The game over and Vulpwood animatic was, in my humble opinion, beyond every expectation of most of the audience.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's for you guys.
That's a hell of a compliment.
That's pretty cool. Well, thank you.
I'm so glad to hear that, because I wasn't sure my storyboards, my horrible sketches were, let's say, good enough to be shown. So, yeah.
Well, I think I can't add anything, because I think he's right. It was absolutely amazing. I was just standing there, and during the Wildwood thing, I was laughing my ass off, and during game over, I was crying like a baby.
Oh.
No, not exactly, but I actually did have tears in my super manly. I did have super manly tears in my super manly.
Super manly tears? Yeah,
that was
super manly.
That was the intention. That was the intention, to make people cry, to make a grown man cry. That was the intention of Game Over. Yes.
Yeah, I can figure. So why don't we talk about Game Over?
Go for it.
Okay.
All right, because another project you've been talking on. Well, when the broadcaster says, "Oops, something horribly has happened," I'm so sorry. I just hit my space button. The other project you've been spending a lot of time with is has been Buttons Adventure. Putting together all the button mash animations you've done pretty much together. How did this all start? How did Button Adventures starts? How did you come together and say, hey, let's do this Button thing?
I think I approached Blake first about this, and my original idea was to just make the music video Don't Mind at Night, because I had I had this idea with Sweetie Belle, which actually, here's an interesting fact. Back then, and I'm not sure if she does it right now still, but back then, the voice actress of Sweetie Belle was actually making gameplays of Minecraft, and I thought that was very cute, and that was funny. So I decided to basically explore the idea of Sweetie Belle playing Minecraft, and considering this gaming boy essentially just recently appeared in the show, and considering they were both Coles and they were both in one scene together, that was all it took for the pair, I guess. And that's what sparked the idea of the music video, just making about Minecraft and have these two kids play it. And I approached Blake with this idea about Button Mesh, which was the name that we gave to this kid. And because I think back then he was either unnamed Colt or High Score, I think was his name. I don't remember, but still, the original idea, as I was saying, was to just make Don't Mind at Night, and as that was in development, we started basically cracking jokes about Button and putting him in situations, and Blake started making his voice and just do funny things with it, and we decided to maybe try and give him some more screen time, essentially. Just write something up and see how that goes. And funny enough, the Button Adventures episode happened to come before Don't Mind at Night, which was supposed to come before Button Adventures. It's weird, but that's what happened essentially.
Yeah. And when did the Hearts and Hooves Day parody thing happen?
I think that was
in the timeline.
That was after Don't Mind at Night, I believe.
So before Button Adventures, but after Don't Mind at Night.
Yeah,
because that's when I remember the character. Because when Jan first showed it to me, keep it in mind, I don't have very much information about the show.
Yeah.
When Jan showed it to me, there was a cut in the original episode, I think Hearts and Hooves Day, where it's like Sweetie Belle singing, and he goes, "This one's too young," and it's Button on a little like game center, and then he gets distracted, and then she goes back off shot. And I think the joke was, what would actually happen? He got distracted from a game. Wouldn't it be funny if like that distraction cost him the game? And it gave us opportunity to make a little bit of original music on there as well, and explore the character and just be silly with it. And then at the end, it was like, I think the line was like 6 hours wasted. Like, do you want to play again? And he was like, okay, just put it in, just goes for it. Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. And then that was like the first breadcrumb of like, oh, this character's actually a lot of fun to write for, and he's silly, and he's immature and sort of deal, but it was a good laugh. And then more projects sort of expanded from that. But I think the Hearts and Hooves Day was the actual sort of setting point of like, okay, I actually think we might have something here past just a music video opportunity.
Also, fun fact is that the reason why I pushed Shady to actually make this Hearts and Hooves Day video from the perspective of Button Mesh is to kind of try and remind the fandom that he was actually in the show, because apparently a lot of people thought that he was just my OC, and that was not the case, and I didn't want to claim that essentially.
So, and when talking about wait, do you even have an OC?
I do, and it's it's a pony. Oh god, it's a unicorn actually, and we can see him in the Galacon 2014 video. Actually, one of the writers in the room is the guy with the blue hair.
Okay, well, I have to look this up somewhere else.
Okay.
Because right now, what I want to do is talk about another character that is connected with Button.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to dig into the button mash thing too deep because I want to come to the game over video you've been doing. But when talking about button mash, you also have to talk that's a law of nature. You also have to talk about his mother.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to.
What happened there? I mean, I joined the Brony fandom
We
in
don't know!
2014.
We don't know what happened, really.
I joined the Brony fandom in 2014. Officially, you joined it. I've been there before, but when I joined the Brony fandom, she was already there, and I had no idea. And suddenly things popped up.
No,
and I was
it's bizarre.
It took less than 24 hours after the episode.
It's so alien to me because, I mean, I get it, you know, with anything, any fandom, any creation of content today, you know, it's going to get like, you know, derivatives and it's going to have, you know, like fan interpretations and stuff. That's fine. You know, that I was totally cool with. I was not anticipating the sheer volume of a response.
Oh, yeah.
Of Button's mom. It should... I still, because the thing is, like, she only appeared in one installment, and we didn't particularly get an opportunity to flesh out her character as much as we would have liked to. So as far as the template that was shown, it wasn't very expansive, but I guess it just exploded, and I don't know. I'd like to say it's just... I'd like to say that it's simply just a case of like, oh, it's a female character, and, you know, that's just the response. But it's like, I've never seen it with any other... Well, or maybe I have, and I'm just completely blind, but I don't know. Yeah, it went a weird fucking direction on that goddamn thing.
So, like, I think it's comparable to Derpy Hooves, actually, because Derpy Hooves just had this tiny moment of screen time during the first episode, and instantly there was this crowd of fans making up her character, making up her name, giving her very own character development off canon, and maybe that's actually what happened to Button's mother.
I really don't know. There isn't like a single person I can ask and go, what happened? They go, well, sit down, this is what happened. I don't know. I mean, I thought she was designed well. I thought she was acted well. She was just meant to be a sweet, caring mother, looks out for her children. And the internet did a 180, and I don't need to say anything else.
She made her own character development off your hands.
Essentially, yeah. We had no control out of it. It was just a case of, by the way, we got fan art. Oh, nice. No, we got fan art. What? Have a look at this. Oh. Like, okay, fair enough.
So a few months or years, even years later, the Hasbro thing happened. You mentioned it before. Do you want... I mean, there are still a lot of rumors going around what actually happened. Do you want to give us a very, very brief thingy, a short description of what actually happened? Why did you have to stop doing these adventures?
It was me that received the message, actually, and somehow it got leaked online, Blake, and yeah, that's basically it. I was contacted by this lawyer that worked for Hasbro, and at first, of course, we didn't really think it was legit, but there were many informations at the bottom of the page, so like basically websites, actual names of actual people, actual positions, and numbers to call. And we did our research, and we eventually called the actual legal firm that was working for Hasbro, and they confirmed that it was all actually a real thing, and we had to comply. And that's basically it. After that, we had to stop our productions. We had to delete most of our videos, and after that point, I've been in constant talks with Hasbro via email, mostly with the lawyer, but then I basically managed to get in contact with like the people at Hasbro themselves, essentially. So people from various departments like PR and other stuff, essentially. Yeah. And it was a roller coaster. It was a lot of back and forth. There were times where I had to remind them like twice in the course of a month that they didn't really give me an answer yet. Well, when they basically just told me, we're gonna reach back to you again at the end of the week, but that didn't happen, so I had to call them again, and it was, it wasn't the best situation, essentially. Yeah. The best thing that happened from that is that I could be able to, I was allowed to get back online with Dorman at Night and the Brony song. The only reason was because the Brony song was actually a sort of commission, let's say, because I worked on the Brony documentary, so I had actual permission from them to upload it on my channel. So they couldn't essentially just claim it and tell me to delete it. And so that was
you're
lucky.
talking about Let's Go and Meet the Bronies, right?
Yes, I am.
Yep.
I worked on that animation with some other people, and I actually got permission from the director and the producer of that documentary to have it on my channel. So yeah, and Dorman at Night, that was actually a very lucky thing that I essentially won the discussion with the lawyer, because I made the point that it is a parody of a song and a parody of a game, meaning Minecraft. There's visual elements of Minecraft, and it contains ponies as part of the parody itself, so they cannot essentially claim it. And that's why Dorman at Night is still up on YouTube to this day.
Yeah. Well, they offered us work, actually.
I don't think we can talk about that.
No, I'm not going to go into the details. Basically, what they offered us was so far off the original point of what we were trying to achieve in the long run, we just didn't bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I've heard about things like that before, what Hasbro did, especially to actually voice actors, like fandom voice actors.
Well, without going too much into it, it wasn't even a case of like being offered something within our department. It was something completely separate. And it wasn't even a case of like, we know that it would get approved. They were looking for something to be submitted to them. But
essentially,
it still didn't resolve the issue. It was just the case of like, I don't know. It was like dangling the keys in front of your kid. It was like, oh, nice distraction sort of deal. That was a friggin' mess. But no, we didn't accept the work ultimately.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
In the end, it wasn't worth it at all, no. And it wasn't even in departments that we wanted to pursue. And
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was a mess, but whatever.
So all this mess eventually led to the animation Game Over, which you showed it first at Galacon last year, didn't you? Or this year?
Yes.
This year. So Game Over, it's like final animation of the Button Mash series. I don't think it's too much to say if I say he isn't shown in the video for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It's just a shadow, as far as I know.
A blurred shadow, yes.
A blurred shadow, and you see this little hat lying in the rain, right? And you hear his voice.
Essentially, yes. And it's all things that basically cannot be claimed because we own his voice. And Hasbro doesn't technically own the design of the hat because it's just a common hat, a common spinning hat. And I don't believe they can try and claim and copyright claim a blurred shadow, but
please try, please. That'd be so fun.
Please don't.
Please try, please. I need another excuse, please.
That's great. So what inspired you to do this very last animation and to do it as it was?
It was just dragging for too friggin' long, and we never got to do a clear off of.
It felt like there was this thing hanging on our backs, really, and it just needed to get out.
Yeah,
we needed to resolve it.
And it's not a happy situation, so we just said, well, it doesn't have to be a happy ending, but let's just do something that we could do collectively that we'll both be happy with. And I'm doing more. No, go ahead.
Sorry. What I want to say is basically the thought process was instead of having this hang forever, just let's let it go.
Yep. And it was because last year, comparative to 4 or 5 years ago when we were actually doing Buttons Adventures, I was pursuing more voiceover than I was music. And now it's kind of flipped. I do more music than I do voiceover. So I wanted to sort of stretch the wings a little bit and try and write an original song that was orchestral leading. Sort of takes inspiration from Daniel Ingram's compositions that he does on the show, trying to follow his sort of movements and that sort of deal. So it was sort of an attempt at it was to mimic the show a little bit. And then it just came to the lyrics, and I didn't want it to be happy. I wanted there to be emotion. I wanted the anguish, the disdain, and everything to come through, but I also wanted it to come from the perspective of Button. And yeah.
So why did it have to be so heartbreaking?
Because there is no point of the entire situation that is uplifting at all. Maybe for Hasbro, sure, but for us, it was like nothing had gone how we would like it to have for several years, and we just didn't want it to be the send-off is just a social post saying, guys, we're not doing the videos anymore. We wanted it to be an actual substantiated, definitive video of like, this is not happening, but this is the best that we can give you as a goodbye. And we just both went full on with it. It was like, if it's going to be done, we need to do it right, and we need to do it sincerely, and we did. And I'd like to hope that we achieved it. But yeah.
So when you showed this video to the Galacon audience, what went through your head?
Please don't hate it.
Yeah.
Please don't hate it. What was going through my head was, for me, I was critiquing it. I wasn't even watching it, if I'm honest. I was looking at it, but I wasn't watching it. I was listening to everything on the big speakers, and I was just tuned in to everything, and I'm listening to how my voice sounds when it's projected into an auditorium. And, you know, I'm doing a character that even back 4 or 5 years ago was still a bit of a push for me, and I'm getting older now, and my voice has changed, and my range has subsequently changed, and, you know, singing it was a bit of a struggle for me. I don't think I would be able to touch the voice confidently again, at least not singing in that sort of range. So it was creatively, physically freaking exhausting. That vocal was recorded 2 hours before we had to go on the plane for Germany.
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
I think I was recording for I was singing Game Over when Jan was at my place before we went to Germany, because we were doing a quality control check.
We were just pushing
our
through.
system, and I was in my studio for about 12 hours. I must have been, 6 o'clock in the evening till about 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just singing these high notes over and over and over and over and over again. Just, you know, listening to the vowel sounds. Is this right? Does it sound like Button? Am I hitting the notes right? Does it sound genuine? And just loads and loads of takes. The voice was a friggin' struggle. It's difficult for me to have that higher range now, especially in singing with those notes. It's like it was hitting like B's and A's below middle C. I don't know if it means anything to anybody not with music theory, but it's definitely a struggle to myself, and we did it. We got it out. I'd like to think that it has the emotion. It was certainly a struggle for me, but that song's been in composition for about 2 years, and then only in the last 6 months before release did we actually see it actually getting like a train and start rolling on. But yeah, that was a hell of an endeavor. That Game Over.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So should we finally take a listen into that song?
Oh, you've got it?
Yeah, of course I got it.
Oh,
All right,
gosh.
let's do it.
All right, go for it.
All right, guys. Here for you, ShadyVox was Game Over.
Dear big brother, I'm leaving home. Please tell mom it's not her fault. I've got to go. There's a voice that's calling, but I see you in every starry sky. The thought of you right by my On lonely nights and rainy days, my love for you will never fade. But we're so far away, it's not the same. So when I don't come back tonight, well, please just know that I'm alright. Always waiting on answers that never see the light. And oh, my heart, don't cry. We could paint a pretty picture. We could say it's all pretend. What a stupid wish, I can't fight on. I lied. I wanna live in this dream forever, even if it's just a moment. You were always worth it. Oh, please, Mom, I tried, but I guess this is game over. I guess this is where it ends. Doesn't mean I'm gone, I'm still there by your side. So if this is our game over, I can't wait to see you soon. My dreams are always you.
There we are again. Wow,
Marvelous.
that's a really heartbreaking song still, even though I've heard it like several times, but I still got this little tiny tear of manly sadness crawling up my eye.
It better be manly.
It better be super manly.
It better be very manly.
Very manly.
It better have chest hairs on it.
Yeah, you gotta look at this tear. If you look close enough, it's even got a tiny Viking beard.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's super manly.
Yeah.
Super manly.
Speaking
All right.
of game over, actually,
Yeah.
if I can add a little something to what we said before.
Yes, of course.
I was wanting to talk a little bit about the visual aspect because I think, well, let's say it was a real struggle for me as well, but for different reasons than Shady's, of course. For the most part, essentially, my struggle was essentially what do I do with the visuals, because the first idea that Blake pitched to me was to just make a lyric video, so just text on screen essentially. I didn't want to do that because that wasn't really what I thought was going to be a proper send-off, and I really wanted to push myself for this. So then the question arose, and like, how am I going to do this? Because I'm not allowed to use any asset from the show. I'm not allowed to show locations from the show. And even if I can maybe distort the style a little bit, I still cannot really show things like Ponyville, Canterlot, anything. So I basically took the time to listen to the song over and over again and just closing my eyes and just thinking about the setting and the visuals and how everything could be basically tied together. And it took like, I think, a week to visualize everything. But at the end of it, I got to a point where I was happy with it. And funny enough, I managed to be vague enough and specific enough at the same time. And I am personally pretty proud of that. I think that's one of my best, let's say, achievements for now. And that's it. It was just a very, very big struggle. So yeah, it was just vague visuals to such specific things in the song. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I can imagine. yet. But in the end, the entire thing, the video, the song, the animation, everything together, it's really, really beautiful. I'm sorry, my voice is giving up.
I'm really glad that people think so, because we were basically saying this at Galacon. We have something about button mesh, and nobody really knew what that was. And when we showed the actual thing, and button wasn't even in there, essentially, that was I was hoping, like Shady said, I was hoping they wouldn't hate it. So
yeah. The thing is, I can imagine everyone in the room knew why button wasn't shown. So I think that's totally fine. And the whole composition of the music, together with this vague video, or this vague the things you didn't see but you saw them at the same time. I think
there's a little bit of storytelling in that. Like, the first shot is basically the hat spinning, and this little letter left there on the bed, and you wonder what happened. And the next shot basically follows. Yeah, I try to basically show as many things without really explaining them, and that basically meant that the video was open to interpretation, but at the same time had an actual story to be discovered.
And I think that worked out very, very well.
Thank you.
No, thank you guys. So, you guys, since we do have to come to an end eventually,
yeah.
There are a few points or a few things I want to discuss with you, like, what are your future plans? What are you planning to do for the future, except Vulpwood? Or let's say, what do you think, where will Vulpwood go? How will it develop? Like, not the story arc, or like the entire thing. What are your expectations?
The kind of impact that it will have.
For example,
I don't know if we should say, because every time we make some sort of guess or prediction on the future, it always turns around in a different way, in something that we never expect, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, Vulpwood for me right now in my head is going to be a project that I do, that I enjoy, that gets finished, and that'll be it. It won't go anywhere outside of a YouTube collaboration and hosting. But it also might. But I don't anticipate anything other than that. And even in that, I'm not going to treat it any less or any more. I'm going to, hopefully just give something in this project that I'm going to be able to look at, appreciate, reflect on, and go, you know what, that it didn't last X amount of seasons, or it didn't achieve this or do whatever, but I was involved and I made something and I'm happy with where it was. If it goes to like a big animation company or something, then cool. If not, it doesn't matter. I'm just happy that I'm working on something that is completely original, and I've got complete creative freedom, and I can have all the stupid ideas within reason that I want, and then within 30 seconds, it's on a storyboard, and it's like, does this work? It works. All right, it's going in.
Pretty much what he said, yeah. My only future plan, if that's even a plan, is to just keep on giving my all to this, because what's the point otherwise, right?
Yep. That sounds like a good plan. So, alright. Oh, the next question you already answered. It was the question about if you want to go big in the animation business, but you already said it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do not expect to go Disney big, of course, but like maybe a little studio would be nice to have, like an actual team to feed off each other, essentially.
Yeah. I think if I'm going to achieve anything, obviously what Jan mentioned, like Disney level would be the epitome of a dream that is never going to happen, but it's nice to think about. But honestly, I would love the idea of having like a designated studio building, even if it's behind a freaking bike shed in an alley, and it's just, 6 people around one Mac or whatever. There is a huge creative push when you are in a team and you're collaborating and you have ideas to bounce off one another. and you got the whiteboard going, and storyboards and that big discussion and shit. That is what I would love to have happen. But we've also got our own independent things going on, like I'm doing music, and I'm trying to get like a new album coming out for my band and stuff. Scratch 21, in case anybody is interested. I doubt that you are, but just in case.
When will it be out?
Shell out.
I don't know when it will be out, but I'm working towards it, and that's the best that I can tell you. I've got instrumentals done. It's going to be like 10 songs, and my heart's going into all of them, and it's going to blow the water out of the first album, and it's going to be amazing, and everybody should buy the first edition copy when it comes out. Everybody should buy 2, actually.
Shell out.
Let me
Why
know
not?
when it's out. We should see each other again then.
Yeah? Oh, absolutely. If you want to interview me for Scratch, I'll do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy. The thing is, like, to go big in the animation business, it's a weird way to measure it, because you could go big while still working at home, and you could have the numbers of a studio, or you could have the numbers of like a independent YouTube channel while working at a studio. I would just like to work with other people more directly on collaborative efforts, and make an actual team of something. That's what I would. For me, that would be big. Something that is sustainable and is with a creative team, and it's exciting, and it's interesting, and it's original, and there's so many different skill sets of craft coming together. That's what I would love to do. That's what I would love to achieve. Yeah.
That does sound achievable, and I wish you the best of luck with it. Actually.
Thank you.
So, are there any other projects? I mean, Blake just said it with his band. There's a new album coming out. But are there any other projects you are planning to do together, or even maybe started as a side project?
There is a couple of things that we are doing together, apart from Vulpwood, yeah. One of which has been in production for a crazy amount of time at this point, but it will eventually get done. And right now, Vulpwood is the main priority, so we're pushing that after Vulpwood. That would be a second short of the ukulele animation that we did for Mashed a few years ago. And the second project that we're making together, it's mostly actually me, because I'm basically animating over one of Shady's voice reels. So I'm just basically using different sections of his voice reel, and I'm building characters and scenarios, and I'm using those voice clips to serve my purpose, essentially. But I think that could eventually lead into something that could basically be some sort of portfolio for the two of us, because he's still going to be handling the mastering and the sound effects and the music engineering. So it's basically going to be a showcase of both our skills.
All right. So
Is that right, Blake?
I mean, yeah.
Am I saying it right?
what you've said is basically true. You're animating a demo reel, and then I'm going to be putting original music behind it, and it's just like a showcase of each other, what I can do vocally, musically, and what Jan can do visually. And I think that we can make something very nice, and they're all original, which is nice. So who knows if down the line maybe one of these skits develop into an extended idea? Who knows?
Hopefully. I personally have some ideas about that, and that ties into the other question being if I'm working on anything separately. And as Blake said, he's working on his band, and I myself, as I mentioned before, also I am working on world building and character design for some of my other concepts that might start to see the light soon enough, hopefully.
all right. So there are two more things I got in our news box. One of them I will tell to you later.
Okay.
I guess. The other one is from a user calling himself W Bunker. It's a question to Shady.
Yes.
Have you thought about a Scratch 21 cameo in Vulpwood?
We discussed this actually.
It's not even.
Okay.
Yes. And it's not a cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we've there will be crossovers. I can absolutely confirm you to that right now. there will be crossovers, and one member in particular will be quite a substantial part of the immediate family's relationship.
Well, there you got your answer.
Not in terms of like a romantic relationship. I mean more like in how they're connected to the rest of the family.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I think that idea got scrapped, mate.
It's in the project. Are you kidding me?
Is it?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Right, I'll check later then.
Zoe's friend?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you understand now?
Yeah, I don't think that's the same person that you're talking about, but okay.
Just go ahead. Everyone is listening.
I mean, it's got a different name after all, but yeah.
I understand Zoe's friend.
Oh, you mean that other friend? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
the one that's related to Scratch. The
Right,
one that
okay.
we're talking about, Jan.
Okay.
That
Yeah, I got it. I got
there
it.
we go.
I got
There we
it.
go. Yeah,
I got it. I got it.
Yeah, we go.
It's actually super fun just listening to you guys.
He's giving me shit over something, and I go, no, that one. Oh, that thing that you're right about. Yeah, sorry, that was me messing up again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, because I was talking about the other character, but you were talking about the most obvious character, which
I was
didn't
talking
come
about
to
the
my
one
mind.
relevant. You know what, Jen? Whenever you're ready, you're going to come back into this conversation, and you're going to talk about the same thing we are. How about that?
Okay, sure, why
Yeah.
not?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. So before we end the show, I wanted to ask each of you a question. So let's say if there are listeners here who want to start something themselves, ShadyVox, let's say if someone came to you and said, I want to do voiceovers, or maybe I want to do music myself.
Yeah.
Like in one short sentence, what would you give him as an advice?
Do it.
Fair enough.
That's one short sentence.
Yeah, of course.
A little
I mean,
bit
I-
too short, though.
I could expand this into several paragraphs. If you want one short sentence and someone says, I want to do this, I would say, do it, is what I would say.
Just go for it and do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Yeah, I would. But on a extended answer, I would say. So, what was the question? Music and voiceover.
Yes.
Voiceover. I would say the first thing that you need to do is you need to make yourself a demo reel, because you need to advertise yourself to clientele, and that is the easiest piece of portfolio that you can throw to somebody. Make it varied, different ranges. Try and stay away from impressions. Try and do more original performances. Be prepared to put a yell or a scream or something of that caliber in your demo reel. You want to show your producer or whoever is the talent agent or whoever's handling casting that you have the ability to have the freedom of full performance if needed where possible. So yeah, I would say the first step is get a demo reel, different varied voices, different characters. And that's the main thing that you're going to start advertising yourself with is a demo reel. That's where I would say that the starting point should be. As for music, I would say that it's weird because everybody starts differently. I only started making music like 2013, 5 years ago, out of a 10-year-old career that I've been pursuing mostly voiceover for. And it started with me. I can only give my experience, but I learned how to play drums from playing Rock Band. I learned how to pick up rhythm from that. And then I got the basic idea of how a song is structured in terms of very simple chords. And even with that, you can make something. So you got to start from somewhere. But I would say just picking up a instrument is the beginning of having a potential music career, depending on where you want to go. It's different if you want to pursue singing primarily, or if you want to do a mix of things like engineering and leveling and mastering and stuff like that. But for me, when I find that when I'm making, or anybody who goes through the process of making their own music, they've also got to factor in the engineering and, you know, the mixing, and that's a whole branch of talent in itself, and that's a different subset of skills that you learn as you go. So yeah, voiceover, get yourself a demo reel so you can start trying to get some gigs, and music, just pick up an instrument. I don't care whether it's a piccolo, a friggin' harp, or a triangle. Just practice something, and you'll expand from somewhere. You'll get it. And it takes time and patience, but if you stop, you'll never be there. And talent is pursued interest. So if you have the patience and interest to pick up a skill, you will. So that's what I would say. Other words wise, do it.
Do it. Just
do it.
Do it. So, same
do
question to Jan Animations. Someone came to you and said, hey, I want to be, or I'm an aspiring animator. Can you give me an advice?
Okay, well, it's a little bit different with animation itself because it's basically the combination of different things. Like, for example, staging, which falls into the film cinematography field, and a good animation has to have good staging and good cinematography. So you basically have to research and study most of the rules. Some things will basically be essentially just something that you pick up by just watching any movie or any TV show or cartoon or anything, because it's something that you subconsciously just take from that. And that was true in my case, at least. I didn't really study any of that, but I researched after a while, and I found that some of my knowledge is actually matches with what professionals do and professionals say. Apart from that, I would also suggest to practice drawing like there is literally no tomorrow, because if you think about it, animation is just drawing over and over and over. And if you don't have a good skill set on drawing, like in terms of shape control, perspective, proportions, anatomy even, you can't really go as far as you could with the animations. So my suggestion is to just study, to just practice drawing, simple drawings, and just go from there, really. Just make your drawings more detailed and more complex each time. Keep practicing, keep developing your concepts, and eventually you will learn most of the skills that are required for actual animation. When it comes to the animation itself, again, I would suggest to study the principles, the 12 principles of animation. There's a book called The Illusion of Life that is very, very insightful about that. And that also applies on artworks, really. It's not just about animations. The principles that are described in the book can help a lot of artists that don't necessarily go into the animation field, because they're all basically rule sets of proportion and force and line of action and that kind of thing. Basically, everything that can bring your drawing to life is mentioned in that book. And that's basically it. What Blake said is also true in this case. You just have to keep practicing and keep pursuing what you want to do, and eventually you will develop all the skills that you need.
Yeah, you
And
start
eventually
sucking and then you
just-
gradually not suck.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
And just do it.
Yeah, just never stop. Just if you want to do it, start and never stop.
All right. I think that's a good point where to actually end this broadcast. Never stop, but we have to end this broadcast. So, yeah, I think we are at the end. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. Thank you very much for coming over. It's been a real pleasure listening to you and talking to you. Listening to you at most. It's new to me. Usually I am the one who blabbers around without an end and has to be stopped by administration. So, yeah, guys, thank you very, very much. It was very interesting. It was very fun, actually. Anything you want to say as a goodbye to our listeners?
Well, thank you for taking the time to actually listen to us, I guess.
Yeah, thank you for listening to us ramble for 2 hours.
Yeah, that was a commitment. That was...
Yeah. I mean, we got socials, ShadyVox and
Yeah.
Jan Animations. It's pretty much
We
the
got
same handle on
Twitter,
all platforms.
yeah, YouTube. That's
Yeah,
it.
you can follow these guys actually on Twitter. Oh my.
But
Oh,
why
yeah.
would you do that? Why would
And
you do that?
YouTube.
Why would you do that? Why would anybody do that?
Why would anybody do that?
Actually, I do.
Why? Why would you do that? Why would
Why
anybody do that?
Well, because I want to stay up to date.
That's fair.
That's
But
fair enough.
I mean,
yes.
like, I needed all the information I could get for this broadcast. I will totally unfollow you right now, so I don't need any more information. Thank you very much. Goodbye. No, but yeah, actually, it's quite some good content.
I'd
So,
like to hope so.
Well, speaking of socials, I don't know what Blake really does with his social because he's not very active. But on my side, I basically almost stream every day, and that means animation work for the most part. So if anyone is interested in Vulpwood, I'm going to sell out now, not Blake. If anyone is interested in Vulpwood, like seeing it being developed, do follow my Twitter because I'm going to link to my streams every time that they happen. So if you're interested, just basically just go there and click on the link, and you will be to my YouTube chat, and we can chat and we can have fun, and you can basically see how many times my program crashes on me.
It's a lot.
my. So,
Spoiler alert,
Derpy
it's a lot,
wants
yeah.
to know if there is any possibility of you two having you two ramble here at Brony Radio Germany regularly, like once a month or so.
Oh
my
boy!
Like what he just wrote in the
What
chat.
would I even talk about? I'd have nothing to contribute. You just get me cursing every couple of minutes.
That's good fun.
That could be fun. Actually, that could be a laugh.
I'll listen to that. To that.
Tell you what, I'll tell you drunken rambles of story past
Cool.
about pizza that fell off my plate and onto the kitchen floor. That sort of deal.
That sounds dramatic.
Well,
I'm about to
actually,
say it's an Italian horror story.
actually, that's we would fit so good together. Actually, that's what I do here.
Yeah, that worked. All right, awesome.
Like I'm
It's Pizza Friday.
rarely sober when I'm on air here. So- I mean, this is a radio about little ponies. How can any sober man go? No, actually,
That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense.
So thank you guys very, very much for being here.
Thank you for your
that
time
you were
and for
here.
your
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Well, you're very welcome. I hope to see you again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you will.
And for the end song, I've decided to take a song we've been talking about the song actually before. It's the song "Let's Go and Meet the Bronies" featuring
Ooh.
Tara Strong and John Delancey.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
That was fun to work on.
Oh.
It, yeah, it's been a work like it's been for the documentation, the Bronies, the super unexpected whatever. I forgot the name. What was the documentation called? The Unexpected Fans.
I worked on it, and I don't even know.
Yeah, because the name is like 2 pages long.
Yeah, like the unexpected fandom, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
something
I'm so
with
sorry.
unexpected. I mean,
I think everybody knows what you mean when you say "Let's
Yeah.
go meet the
I've
Bronies."
read
Though.
the title.
Everybody gets it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a long title, and the song is of this documentation, and I've got nothing more to say. Thank you very much for being here again.
Thank you.
Now I just have to play the music. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It doesn't want to play the song. That's sad. Actually, it doesn't. It's an unknown type file, but it's an MP3.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
all right. What other song could we play? Give me a hint.
I'll tell you what. Scratch 21. Sorry, Jack.
Sell out.
That's your involvement as well, Dick Cheese.
Yeah, but they're not gonna see the visuals, are they?
Actually,
I don't care.
I got Strangers from Scratch 21.
I prefer Sorry, Jack.
So what was the song called?
Sorry, Jack.
Sorry,
Jack.
Jack.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. We have to talk more. I'm sorry. So what are you guys up to this weekend?
Well, if I get to the weekend, is
What do you mean if you get to the weekend?
if I don't die before midnight, that is.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't die.
Are you a
before the
gremlin?
weekend.
What
Oh
do you
my
mean?
God.
What's happening?
I might be. My plans are to basically just chill with a friend that is currently over, and on Sunday I will basically be with my other friends, and we will be testing a game that we've been developing, a tabletop game. So yeah, that's it.
What kind of tabletop game?
It's basically I don't know if you're familiar with Risk.
Okay.
The game called Risk, that is a tabletop game. Basically, different factions having a war against each other, essentially. Like controlling the territories and all that fine stuff. And it's something that is basically like that, but it's based on a game called Dune 2000.
Dune.
Boys, I need a bounce.
All right. He's got to go, I guess.
Okay.
So it's no
I don't know how
problem
to-
because I got the song, I guess.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, give me a few seconds. Where did I put it? Oh crap. So here we go. Sorry, Jack. From Squatch21, it's loading up.
Squatch.
I love Squatch.
I love the Squatch.
The Squatch21, yeah.
Squatch.
No.
Yeah.
Alright, music is ready. I hope. Pretty much. Here we go, guys. See
Hopefully.
you again. So the last thing that got into our message board was actually some trivia about billy goats, and there's a funny thing they do. And if you don't know what billy goats do, just look it up on Google. I've had a good laugh. Ja, ich verabschiede mich. Die Sendung ist jetzt damit dann zu Ende. Ich wünsche euch noch einen wunderschönen guten Abend, eine gute Nacht. Träumt was Schönes. Ja, also Sendung ist vorbei und damit, ihr wisst Bescheid, ne? Abschalten.